Cartwright, and this is my model, Daphne Fernberger, and she's going to show us the right way to do 4 different kinds of stretches and the don'ts that you need to pay attention to. So Daphne, if you first of all will go into a split, how to get into a forward front split. And we're going to start with a preparation in a lunging kneel, whereby the front leg, actually your front foot could be a little further forward. So it's a slightly 45-degree angle. Good. The stomach's well lifted, and that front leg is a little turned out. The back leg is parallel with the back shin bone in a direct line behind the body, so it's not swung across. And there's a nice stretch through that front of the psoas in preparation for further going into the split. Thank you, Daphne. You can come out of that. Okay. And then we will go into sliding into the split from there. Are you going to be all right for that, without a chair? Okay. This can be done with or without a chair. Take, you know that we're not going to put our hands down on the floor. So you might want to use a chair. Take the arm up. There's an elevation in the chest. That's it. We keep working the back hip forward, stretching underneath the front leg, and keeping the chest lifted so it's over the pelvis, instead of being too far forward. That's it, very nice. So you can go progressively into that and relax out of that now. And as you go into that, you want to be sure that you don't let the back hip slide open. Just show us what we don't want to do, Daphne. Right. So you stop yourself at a degree of level that you can achieve that's anatomically correct in the alignment. All right, and the next stretch that we're going to do is a side straddle. So I'll take the chair away. And on the side straddle, you can open the legs. Now try not to rock forwards to get into it. You want to try and achieve that really coming from the front open to the side. Exactly. Good. The arms are behind to keep the chest lifted, the ribs connected down towards the pelvis, and the energy projects from under the sit bones out through the heels. And in that position you can then point, and the energy goes out and along through the leg. And relax and bring the legs in. Good. And in the one that we don't want to do, we'll see why you don't want to do this one, is when you stretch and roll forwards, you'll see how the legs have rotated inwards, the butts come up in the air, and even if you're propped up on your elbows, just prop up for a second, then you drop into your middle back, which is then very poor alignment for the spine. And this isn't really achieving any turnout in the leg where you want, and in fact is overstretching the ligaments in the wrong place. So that detracts from your strength, especially when you want to jump. Good, thank you. And then we'll do the hamstring stretch with your legs out in front, and we'll start this with the legs bent in a little bit, holding the feet, and we're going to curl backwards so that you really round the back backwards. And then from there move the feet a little forwards and try and arch the back, and you can let the knees fall open a little so that we get a nice arch into the lower back. Good. And then if you feel flexible enough, you can stretch it forward, keeping that arch in the sacrum, the chest up. Good. And then from there also just curl backwards. And again, she's stretching, holding up on top of the hamstrings and the rounded lower back, which will then gives flexibility. Now go along the legs into an arch. Go along, that's it, arch the tail, and stretch under the back of the knees, and relax. So that's a really nice hamstring stretch. What you don't want to do is have your shoulders hunkered over, your knees a little bit bent, and then trying to arch, you're pushing the head backwards. So if you have tight hamstrings in the beginning, the alternative is to hold your ankles or somewhere a little higher up on the leg where you can achieve the stretch that you want. And this will also be with when the knees are bent, the same thing can be done. So when your knees are up this way, that's it, so that you can open the lower back, because if the lower back is open and the muscles are stretched, Now straighten your legs, Daphne. Then the hamstrings will follow suit. Good. And relax out of that. And our last one is a frog. Right. So we'll do a good frog, and always remembering that when you're stretching, you want to be able to sustain the degree of stretch that you have with control. So we're going to keep it a little bit high, drop down a little bit, that's it, because we want the ribs connected down towards the pelvis, the knees are spiraling outwards, the heels up towards the ceiling, and there's a connection in the back of the rotators to give you strength. So it's like the back of or the bottom of a grand plie position. So there you've got both strength and you're working on your flexibility to open up in the hip sockets and relax. Thank you. And then show why we don't want to do the frog on our front, which is a very common one, because you'll see immediately how she's dropped into her lower back again, and again the butt has come up in the air, and again we're slightly overstretching the wrong ligaments. You don't want to overstretch the ligaments in the front and into the hips. So this is really not giving you any strength. There's no connection in the back of the legs. There's no strength happening in those back rotators. And relax and come out of it. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right.